family had no idea the kind of dirt I had on them until last night. I've been deaf since I was 6, and this was great. Not for me, but for my family. You see, my family is big on gossiping, and the fact that I couldn't hear any of it made it even more fun for them. They could sit there talking trash about me and other people, and I couldn't hear any of it. But here's what nobody seems to understand. Even without my hearing aid, I know what's going on because I can read lips. In fact, I can read lips better than most people can read books. I can follow a conversation from 40 feet across the room as long as I can see your mouth moving. And nobody in my family knew, except for my husband Frank. I could tell him everything and not worry about him telling other people. Not just because he's trustworthy, but also because he's mute. So for 12 years, he and I have been collecting stories quietly, keeping it all between the two of us. That is, until last Thanksgiving. It was held at my parents' house this year, and the whole crew was there. Parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, dogs, cats, even my cousin's guinea pig. Frank and I took a seat in the corner of the room like we usually do. And like always, they forgot I was watching. The backstabbing immediately got started. In the kitchen, my mom complained to my auntie how my little sister's boyfriend was a downgrade from the last. Imagine what my grandkids would look like if they got his big forehead, she said, rolling her eyes. My auntie agreed, adding that my husband was already one bad decision, and she advised my mom to stop my sister Annie from making the same mistake. Then, over by the garage, I watched my Uncle Leo confide in my dad about his huge credit card debt, which he'd been hiding from my auntie. Near the dining room, my sister-in-law talked to my cousin about how much she dreaded talking to my grandparents. If you see them approach me, do me a favor and pull me away, please, she begged. My two cousins sat in front of us at the table and talked about how me and my husband were pretty much just disabled dolls. It's kind of creepy how they just sit here looking. They can't even talk to each other. I mean, how do they function? They glanced over at us and I just smiled and gave a gentle wave, pretending I didn't hear a thing. He gave an awkward smile back and whispered, "See? So creepy." But what finally broke my silence were the things my sister Annie yelled out to my whole family. Since my sister is deaf and her husband is mute, you think their future kid will come out blind? I watched them laugh and laugh, stealing glances at me and Frank, and felt the smile just melting off my face. Frank squeezed my hand and shook his head, warning me not to be reckless. But it was too late. They ruined my Thanksgiving, and now it was time to give back. Everyone gathered at the table to finally eat. My mom gave her usual Thanksgiving prayer, and everyone lifted their forks to eat. That's when I stood up and asked for everyone's attention. I'd like to share something this Thanksgiving. It's a secret I've been hiding. A gift, I said. Everyone stared at me with a bored expression until I dropped the bomb. I can read lips. What does this mean? Even without my hearing aid, I can hear you all, and I heard everything that's been said today. I grinned at the nervous laughter. Then I began, tackling each one. I looked at my sister Annie and told her that Mom thinks her boyfriend's a downgrade because Mom didn't like his big forehead. Mom's face turned red. Annie's mouth hung open. Then I turned to my auntie and told her that Uncle Leo had been hiding a big credit card debt from her, and they were going to lose the house soon if she kept spending like she normally did. Auntie's head snapped toward him, demanding to know what I was talking about. Uncle Leo just looked away, shaking in his seat. Then I looked at my sister-in-law and told her I saw her begging my cousin to pull her away if my grandparents approached her. Grandma's eyes started tearing up while Grandpa got angry and started cursing at the table. People started getting restless, breaking out into arguments across the table. Oh, I'm just getting started. I told them about my sister's expulsion from school. My grandparents planned to leave certain people out of their will. Even my mom's fling when she and dad had a rough patch a couple of years ago. The room grew chaotic. People yelled and threw food at each other. No one was safe. But before I could say anything more, my husband Frank stood up and held up his phone for the whole table to see his message. It read, "You all made jokes about us, called us creepy, joked about our future kid being blind, but we function just fine. What we don't have, we make up for with kindness." That's when I stood up to say my piece. The worst part of all this is the fact that you can all hear, speak, and see perfectly, but you use those abilities to tear each other apart, to gossip and lie and hurt each other. That's just sad. Nobody spoke for a long time. Then Mom got up and started apologizing to Annie and her boyfriend. Then my aunt did the same. Soon, everyone was standing around apologizing and confessing to things they normally wouldn't have. Then they all turned to me and Frank and gave the biggest, sincerest apology. And for the first time, we had the most honest Thanksgiving ever.